Good morning everyone. Today our topic is angular momentum. We have discussed about torque in the last lecture. So this is about angular momentum. Now you all know what is linear momentum. P is m into v. This is your linear momentum. It is for the translational motion. Now if there is rotational motion, means something is rotating. Okay, like your fan is rotating about the axis, then that is rotational motion. So in rotational motion we are having angular momentum. And how we can find angular momentum, like suppose this is the axis of rotation around which any particular object is rotating. So let us consider this is the distance from the axis of rotation. So in this circle it is rotating, distances, perpendicular distances are, you are applying force in this direction and it start rotating. Then angular momentum is given by L vector, and L vector is equal to R vector cross with P vector. L stands for angular momentum. Angular momentum is given by cross product of perpendicular distance of line of action of force, means where force is acting from the axis of rotation, and linear momentum. So R vector cross with P vector. This is your angular momentum L vector. So in terms of this is the cross product, so we can write L is R P sine theta n cap. Now how to find this direction? For that we'll use the right hand thumb rule, that when you curl the fingers from R to P, like here this is the direction of R vector, this is the direction of P vector. So when you extend it, say this is R vector and in this direction there is P vector. So I can draw here, this is the P vector because momentum acts in the direction of force. So when you do R cross P, so thumb is pointing in upward direction, it means angular momentum is in upward direction. Like this, if this is R, this is P, then it will go in downward direction. Right hand thumb rule, then it will go in downward direction. So by using right hand thumb rule, we can find the direction of angular momentum. It is a vector quantity and units are, for R it is meter, for momentum, momentum is mass into velocity, so it is kilogram, velocity is meter per second. When you combine this is kilogram meter square per second. So these are the units of angular momentum. Afterwards, if you have to find out in terms of Cartesian coordinates, suppose L vector is having component, this is the component along x axis, this is along y axis, this is along z axis. R vector is given by x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap, and momentum is also having component because all these are vector quantities, that is why they are having components. Then find out R cross P. So by same method as we have find out cross product I, j, k, R vector means x, y, z and P vector means px, py and pz. After that solve it, like if we are taking I cap, leave this column, this row, so we are left with only this. So inside the bracket it is y, pz minus z into py. Then here I have put positive sign, so next is negative sign minus j cap. Then leaving this row and this column containing j, we are left with x, z, px and pz. So it will be x pz minus z into px. X pz minus z into px. Then plus k cap. Leaving this one and this one, so we are left with only this. So it is x py minus y px. So these are the components of angular momentum. This is component along x axis, means this is equal to Lx. This one will be equal to Ly and this one will be equal to Lz. So this is all about angular momentum. Vector quantity, direction is given by right hand thumb rule. After that, what is law of conservation of angular momentum? See, we know L vector is R vector cross with P vector. Now take derivative on both sides, dl vector over dt with respect to time. So here applying uv formula, R vector cross dp over dt plus P vector as it is cross dr vector upon dt, or we can write like this, dr vector upon dt cross with P vector. Now this is R vector. Now what is dp over dt? Rate of change of momentum. This is equal to force plus dr over dt is velocity cross momentum, that is mass into velocity. This is dl over dt. Now R cross F, this is the formula for torque. So this is equal to torque and here mass, velocity vector cross with velocity vector. Cross product of vector with itself is always 0. This term becomes 0. So we are having torque is equal to dl over dt. So it is like same Newton's law in rotational motion. As in linear motion, F vector is mass into acceleration. So in rotational motion, torque is equal to, and this is also equal to dp vector over dt. So here torque is equal to dl vector over dt. Force is replaced by torque. Linear momentum is replaced by angular momentum. So what is law of conservation of angular momentum? That if there is no external torque on the system, means this is 0. If this is 0 means dl vector over dt is 0. Then derivative of quantity 0 means that quantity is constant. So L vector is constant. Means angular momentum is conserved. So this is law of conservation of angular momentum, that if torque acting on the system is 0, then angular momentum is conserved. And there are various applications on the basis of conservation of momentum. For example, a helicopter has 2 propellers instead of 1 in order to conserve angular momentum. If it is having only 1 propeller, then what will happen? The helicopter will turn whenever it tries to fly, it will turn. It will not be able to fly. So that is why it is having 2 propellers in order to conserve momentum. So you can read more applications in conceptual questions. Next is equilibrium of rigid bodies. Rigid bodies means, see, any body, like suppose if this rod is there, it is having 2 kinds of motion. It can have translatory motion. It can move like this. If we apply force in downward direction, it will start moving in this direction. That is called translatory motion. Then it can have rotatory motion also about its edge or about its center. Like you can take this edge and start rotating this rod around the edge. Or you can start rotating the rod, or you can consider the pen around its center. Like you can rotate the pen like this. So it can have this kind of motion, or it can have translatory motion. It can have this one. You can roll it also. So it can have rotational as well as translatory motion. So what do you mean by equilibrium of rigid body? So a body can have translational equilibrium. Translational equilibrium is possible only when there is net force acting on the system is 0. Means total force acting on the system is 0, then it is in the translational equilibrium. And if the total torque acting on the system is 0, then it is said to be in rotational equilibrium. If the total torque is 0, then it is in rotational equilibrium. And if like both force and torque are 0, then the body is completely in equilibrium. It is having translational as well as rotational equilibrium. So this is about equilibrium of rigid bodies. After that, there are like equation of rotational motion. As we have done in linear motion, we are having various equations of motions like V equals to U plus AT, S is equal to UT plus half AT square, and V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. In rotational motion, here velocity is replaced by, like this is initial velocity, this is represented by initial angular velocity. If it is final velocity, that is replaced by final angular velocity, omega. If here it is distance, here it is angle theta. Because here it is angular displacement. And time remains same, but here if it is acceleration, here is angular acceleration alpha. Rest of the method is same. Like we have derived these equations. Relation is like your acceleration is dv over dt. So here angular acceleration is d omega over dt. Then if velocity is ds over dt, then here angular velocity is d theta over dt. Like how we have derived first equation by calculus method, we know v is equal to ds over dt. Like we have started from this equation, or you can, so like this you can take here, this is velocity's expression. We will start from acceleration. As we know, acceleration is dv over dt. So we can write alpha as d omega over dt. Taking dt on other side, alpha dt is equal to d omega. Now taking integral on both sides, here limits are from 0 to t. Here limits are from omega naught to omega, initial velocity to final velocity. Since alpha is constant, because these all equations are valid for constant angular acceleration, integral of dt is t, limits are 0 to t, d omega's integral is omega, limits are omega naught to omega. So alpha t minus 0, upper limit minus lower limit, omega minus omega naught. Okay, so you can, when you'll solve it, alpha t is omega minus omega naught. So omega is omega naught plus alpha t. So this is first equation of motion. You can compare it with v is equals to u plus at. See, instead of v there is angular velocity, u initial angular velocity, acceleration, angular acceleration, time. Similarly, you can prove other two equations by same method. So try those two equations. The equation will come out to be theta is equal to omega naught t plus half alpha t square, and this equation will come, the third one is omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 alpha into theta. Now try these two equations also, okay, and send me back through WhatsApp. So this is all for today. Revise it. So whatever we are doing, there will be test of that. Okay, thank you everyone.